Hello guys and welcome to another status report highlight, this time from the 1st of December 2014. And as usual, we're going to kick things off with DayZ's producer Brian Hicks, who starts off by saying, now that 051 has reached stable branch, we've had the pleasure of watching how the survivors of Chernarus interact and experiment with its content and mechanics, be it player-to-player interaction through the extension of the meat harvesting systems or travelling together across the map in search of a V3S. For now, the team is focused on critical bug fixes and server-side performance optimization for 052 midway through December, and then goes on to say, for him, the first 2 quarters of 2015 hold a great deal of excitement. The last year has had a large amount of work ongoing behind the scenes that affect gameplay and playability for a significant part of the active early access user base. As someone that has spent over the 3,000 hours in Chernarus this year, Hicks is genuinely excited for the possibilities. Speaking of his time in Chernarus, as you all know, the military tent, which is packable, was recently added into Stable Branch. This, as he envisions it, is one of many among possible persistent objects that survivors can find and use to create their own base in Chernarus, ranging from tents to barriers, horticulture, containers, varied levels of fireplaces, and so much more. He sees this feature expanding upon the initial pup tents of the mod, something that resembles a true improvised and scalable survivor camps. Next up, we have some information from lead artist Chris Torchia. And starting with character art, he mentions, current character work is focused around the upcoming changes to the zombie AI and animation systems. We are reskinning the old zombies and exporting the skeletons into a new proprietary format. On the screen now, I'll show you a screenshot of the new zombie farmer, which will be implemented sometime in the future. But then he mentions, however, this has not held us back from creating a new batch of zombie model templates, with which we can quickly create loads of new zombie types of various shapes, sizes, and ages. This is particularly important since the latest news regarding testing of the new zombies suggests we may soon be able to significantly increase the number of zombies spawning. Work in the area will be ongoing and may still take some time to finish, but it should pay dividends in the long run. Next up, Chris mentions weapons, with, we added the AUG in somewhat unfinished state as it currently does not work with any attachments. However, we do hope to transform it into a highly modifiable platform, and adding an RIS is the first step in that direction. The model is ready and soon, perhaps, he will release a picture as a teaser. They're also working on a Winchester Model 70 Alaskan, which means he needs to get off his butt and figure out a design for scope situation, i.e. one scope for many rifles. It's possible that he also told us to make sure the suppressors are looking pretty, so they can be triumphantly re-added. And next up we have lead gameplay programmer Merrick, who starts off by saying, this week we have pushed the current work on the new infected animals AI into internal testing. The core AI system was developed by the Bratislava team and is also using the new animation system, which will help us to have better navigation for AI units and more complex combat systems. For the initial implementation, there is not many new things about the infected, but it should improve better server performance and navigation. It will also allow us to have more infected on the map and to implement stealth mechanics into the game. Current testing is aimed for the performance, and if everything will go fine, we're planning to push it to experimental servers once we're happy with how it performs. After that, we're planning to tweak stealth and combat, and we would like to push it to experimental servers with 053 version. We're also continuing on tweaking vehicles, improving loot distribution and loot respawn systems, and other long-term tasks, such as new game control mechanics and new inventory system. Stay tuned for more details to come. And finally we have lead designer Peter, who starts off by saying, long time no see my dear survivors, I hope that surviving in Chernarus is a little bit more satisfying now with your new best friend, the Praga V3S. By the way, V3S is an abbreviation of the 3-ton military special. Indeed, that rolled out version has rather stripped down functionality, however, you should enjoy the free ride while it lasts. We started to work on more complex mechanics for maintenance and repair. The battery will most likely be the next part that will be needed to get your vehicle functioning, so without it, you can try to start the engine as many times as you want, but it won't get you anywhere. Which also means that we are adding in the actual action for turning the engine over and off. If everything goes fine, we will add animations for entering and exiting the vehicle, as they were removed in the last minute before releasing due to some issues with action conditions that leads to undesirable results, such as entering and exiting vehicle through closed doors. We are also working on setting up the inventory container for the V3S, as with the current state of inventory implementation, it is not as trivial as it seems. New color variants of V3S are ready to go, so you will soon have the chance to drive also grey, orange and blue one. You may ask what else is being worked on not regarding the vehicles. I'm glad that I can tell you there is a bunch of upcoming stuff that was hinted at a long time ago. Specifically silencers, chainsaws and suicide. Recently a feature to use more shooting sounds per firearm was added, thus we can now make the silencers useful and bring them back to the loot spawns. It also opens possibility for crafted ones, so you will be able to decide if you keep that PET bottle as a water container or if you want to make a silencer from it. The chainsaw was put on hold for a few reasons that were connected to animation and melee systems, but now we feel it is quite good time to push into the wild, finally at least in some crude form. We decided to redo the way how Suicide was supposed to work completely. We ended up with the fluent part of the gameplay, which doesn't break up the immersions. Suicide starts with a gesture, and while you are in the verbose pose, you can still decide if you really want to pull the trigger and end your misery at once, or leave it and try harder to survive even with bad cards on your hand. Added value of this solution is that you can also do the pose with empty hands. That's it for today's status report highlight for the 1st of December 2014. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All links will be in the description for the status report, as I always recommend you to read the status report in full for yourselves for the full amount of information that it may hold, as well as a link for DayZTV.com for your latest DayZ news and information. And for now, I've got a cold, and I'll see you peeps next time.